The old high school on Sycamore Street hadn't changed much in the 20 years since I'd last walked its halls. The same chipped green paint clung to the cinder block walls, the same flickering fluorescence buzzed overhead, and the same sour smell of adolescence, sweat, cheap cologne, and something faintly metallic lingered in the air. But there was something else now. Something that hadn't been there when I was 17. Sneaking cigarettes behind the gym, or doodling in the margins of my algebra notebook. A weight, a presence, like the building itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. I wasn't supposed to be here. The place had been boarded up for years, condemned after the fire in '03 that took out half the science wing and left 3 kids dead. Nobody talked about it much. Not in town. Not anymore. But the rumors never died. Kids dared each other to sneak in at night, whispering about shadows that moved on their own, voices echoing in empty classrooms, and a cold that sank into your bones no matter how warm the night. I'd laughed it off back then. Kid stuff. Ghost stories to spook the freshmen. But standing here now, in the middle of the old main hallway, with my flashlight beam cutting through the dark like a knife, I wasn't laughing. The invitation had come in the mail a week ago. No return address, just a plain white envelope with my name scrawled in black ink. Inside was a single sheet of paper, typed, unsigned. Come back to where it started. Midnight, October 30th. You'll see. I'd tossed it in the trash, figuring it was some prank from an old classmate, maybe someone who'd heard I'd moved back to Derry after all these years. But that night, I couldn't sleep. The words kept circling in my head, like a song you can't shake. You'll see. By the next morning, I'd fished the letter out of the garbage and started making plans. The school's front doors were boarded, but the side entrance by the cafeteria, where we used to sneak out for lunch, was still there. The lock rusted and loose. One good tug and I was in. The air inside was stale, thick with dust that danced in my flashlight's beam. My sneakers crunched on broken glass and crumbled plaster. The lockers stretched down the hall like silent sentinels, their doors dented and tagged with faded graffiti. Class of 2002, forever. Jenny plus Mike forever. Beware the Watcher. That last one made my skin prickle. I told myself it was just vandalism, some kid with a can of spray paint and too much time. But the letters were uneven, smeared, like they'd been written in a hurry, or in the dark. I moved deeper into the school, past the principal's office, where the door hung off its hinges, and the library, its shelves empty, books long since looted or burned. My flashlight caught glimpses of the past, a cracked trophy case, a faded poster for the spring musical, a janitor's mop propped against a wall, like it was waiting for someone to pick it up. I kept expecting to hear something. Footsteps, a whisper, the creak of a door. But there was nothing, just the hum of my own blood in my ears. The invitation hadn't said where to go, but my feet knew the way. They carried me toward the science wing, down the corridor where the fire had started. The air grew colder as I walked, the kind of cold that doesn't just touch your skin but crawls inside you, settling in your chest like a stone. The hallway was different here. The walls were blackened, scarred, the ceiling sagging where the flames had licked it. The smell of smoke lingered, faint but unmistakable, like the building hadn't forgotten. Room 214. That's where it happened. The chemistry lab where Tommy Hargrove, Lisa Chen, and Danny Walsh had been working late on some extra credit project. Nobody ever figured out how the fire started. Faulty wiring, they said, or maybe a Bunsen burner left on. The official report was vague, and the town was happy to let it stay that way. But the kids who'd been there, the ones who got out, they told different stories. Stories about a shadow that moved before the flames, a figure that stood in the doorway and watched as the fire spread. The door to 214 was gone, reduced to a charred frame. I stepped inside, my flashlight sweeping over overturned tables and shattered beakers. The blackboard was still there, half-melted chalk still clinging to it, equations smudged into illegibility. I tried to remember what it had been like before, when the room was full of life, but all I could see was ruin. That's when I heard it. A whisper, soft and sharp, like a blade cutting through silk. You came. I spun around, my flashlight slashing through the dark. Nothing. Just the empty doorway and the hallway beyond. My heart was hammering now, my breath coming in short, ragged bursts. "Who's there?" I called. My voice louder than I meant it to be. It echoed, bouncing off the walls, coming back to me warped and wrong. No answer. But the air shifted, grew heavier. I could feel it, like a hand pressing against my back. I turned slowly, my flashlight shaking in my grip. And that's when I saw it. On the blackboard, where the smudged equations had been, there were new words, written in chalk so white, it seemed to glow. "You'll see." I stumbled back, my foot catching on a broken chair. The flashlight fell, clattering to the floor, its beam spinning wildly across the room. For a moment, I thought I saw something in the corner, a shape, tall and thin, with eyes that burned like embers. But when I grabbed the flashlight and swung it back, there was nothing. Just shadows. I wanted to run. Every instinct screamed at me to get out, to leave this place and never come back. But my legs wouldn't move. It was like the cold had rooted me to the spot, like the building itself was holding me there. And then I heard it again, that whisper, closer now, right behind me. "Stay." I turned, and there they were. Tommy, Lisa, Danny, or what was left of them. Their faces were wrong, melted and stretched, their eyes too big, too bright. They stood in the doorway, their bodies flickering like bad reception on an old TV. Tommy's mouth opened, and his voice was a rasp, dry as ash. "You were supposed to help us." I didn't understand. I hadn't been there that night. I'd been home, studying, oblivious. But the way they looked at me, it was like they knew something I didn't. Like they'd been waiting for me all these years. Lisa stepped forward, her sneakers leaving no sound on the floor. "You saw it?" she said, her voice a low moan. "You saw it, and you didn't tell." My mind raced, trying to make sense of it. Saw what? The fire? The shadow? I opened my mouth to say something, to beg them to explain. But Danny raised a hand, and the air turned to ice. "It's still here," he said. "It's always been here." The room seemed to pulse, the walls bending inward, the shadows stretching and twisting. My flashlight flickered, then went out, plunging me into darkness. I could hear them moving closer, their whispers overlapping, a chorus of accusations. "You knew. You let it happen. You're part of it." I don't remember running. I don't remember how I got out of the school, how I ended up in my car, shaking, the keys still in my hand. But I remember the feeling, that weight, that presence following me all the way home. It's still with me now, as I write this, sitting in my locked apartment with every light on. I keep looking over my shoulder, expecting to see them, expecting to see it. The school is still there, on Sycamore Street. They say they're tearing it down next month, turning it into a parking lot or some strip mall. But I know better. You can't bury something like that. You can't pave over it and pretend it's gone. It's still there, waiting. And if you walk those halls at midnight, you'll see, just like I did,